At first glance, he looks like nothing more than a drifting cowboy, a man shaped by dust, long roads, and quiet nights under open skies. His worn boots, faded hat, and slow, measured way of speaking suggest a life lived on the margins, far from influence or ambition. To most people, he is invisible, easily dismissed as someone with little to offer beyond stories of the road. She, like many others, assumes he owns nothing but his horse, his saddle, and the clothes he carries with him. What no one realizes is that behind his unassuming presence lies an empire built on patience, intelligence, and sacrifice. He owns vast stretches of land, ranches, water rights, and businesses that quietly shape the region's economy. His signature alone can change livelihoods, yet he never flaunts that power. Wealth to him became a burden long ago, something that attracted the wrong people and empty admiration. So he chose a different life, one of simplicity, anonymity, and peace. He dresses plainly not because he must, but because he wants to. He works with his hands to stay grounded, to remember what is real. While others chase status, applause, and luxury, he rides away from it all, finding freedom in being underestimated. No one asks him for favors. No one pretends to care. And in that silence, he feels safe. She doesn't fall for his money or influence. She doesn't even know it exists. What draws her in is his humility, his quiet strength, and the depth in his eyes that hints at a life far richer than it appears. And misjudging him, she unknowingly steps into a world where true power hides behind simplicity, and real worth is never announced, it is lived. Despite his wealth and influence, love is the one thing he has kept out of his life for years. Money came easily compared to trust. Success followed him, but intimacy did not. Long ago, he learned a painful lesson that when people discover power or fortune, affection often becomes conditional. Promises were made with hidden motives, and loyalty faded the moment something better appeared. Those betrayals did not just hurt him, they reshaped him. Once, he loved deeply and without caution. He believed in shared dreams, in building a future with someone who saw him rather than his assets. But when that trust was broken, it left scars that time never fully erased. The loss wasn't just of a person, it was the loss of belief in love itself. Since then, he chose distance over vulnerability, silence over confession, and solitude over the risk of being hurt again. He surrounded himself with open land and empty horizons, because they asked nothing of him. Horses did not lie. The wind did not betray. In isolation, he found control over his emotions, his expectations, and his heart. He convinced himself that love was a weakness, a luxury he could no longer afford. Keeping people at arm's length became his shield. Yet beneath that guarded exterior, the desire to be understood never fully disappeared. He feels it in quiet moments, in lingering glances he quickly looks away from, in conversations he keeps, short before they grow to personal. His heart isn't empty, it is closed, carefully locked away, waiting for proof that some connections are real, and some love does not come with a price. Their connection begins quietly, without drama or intention. She meets him as the world sees him, a simple cowboy passing through, carrying more silence than words. There is no curiosity about his past, no questions about his future, and no interest in what he owns. Instead, she speaks to him with ease, offering kindness that feels natural, not calculated. For the first time in years, he is not being measured, evaluated, or admired for the wrong reasons. Her gestures are small but meaningful. She listens without interrupting. She smiles without expectation. She treats him with the same respect she would give anyone else, never sensing the power or wealth hidden beneath his modest exterior. That authenticity unsettles him. He is used to people wanting something: security, influence, advantage. With her, there is nothing to gain. And that is precisely what makes the connection real. Slowly, his guarded heart begins to soften. Conversations stretch longer. Silence between them feels comfortable instead of heavy. He finds himself sharing pieces of his thoughts, then parts of his past, surprised by how safe it feels. She doesn't push or pry. She simply stays present. In her eyes, he is enough exactly as he is. What changes everything is not a grand revelation of his identity, but the realization that she chose him before knowing it. Her affection is rooted in character, humility, and honesty, not status or wealth. When the truth eventually surfaces, it doesn't redefine their bond. It only confirms its strength. Through her, he learns that real love recognizes the soul first, and that sometimes the purest connections are found when nothing is hidden, yet nothing is demanded.